Hello, my name is Ben Lyons. You can just call me Lyons. That's what my friends call me. I'm here. I really don't know why I'm here, other than got nothing else to do, I suppose. Uh, I'm a man right now in this world. I think, like many of us, who are essentially just kind of lost. All right, and uh, if you get nothing else out of this video, other 50-year-old tech guys out there in the universe, other workers in the United States, other people who are struggling with modern society, with the onset of AI taking all of our jobs, with offshoring to other countries. There's a lot of instability, economic instability, political instability, cultural instability, and on top of that, for many of us, I think that there's just this underlying restlessness that is starting to occur. And some of us talk about it. There's more than enough YouTube videos on it. Nothing that you're going to hear, nothing I'm going to say is going to be original. Everything that I am going to talk about is either derived from my own personal experience, which probably echoes everybody else's experience, or it's derived from my learnings, which, aside from the few things that I've been able to synthesize and come out of my own mind, are really coming out of Taoist philosophy, Buddhist philosophy, Alan Watts, Carl Jung, Nietzsche. I believe it was Newton who said, if I can see further than others, it's because I stand on the shoulders of giants. Okay, and that's where I'm coming to here. Okay, I'm a man on a journey. I think a lot of you are too, and I just want some companions on this ride. You know what I mean? I don't have all the answers. None of us do. But I know one thing: none of us want to feel alone. We don't want to feel like our lives are without purpose. We don't want to feel that this whole cycle of waking up and going to work and commuting and breakfast and like the people you don't want to deal with in the office and work, and then it's lunchtime and work, and you go home and you eat food, you feed your family, you spend the time with the kiddos, you see what happened in school, you dole out any punishment, you give out any rewards, you do the story time, you slam those kids in bed, you spend 5 minutes with your partner, and then you start all over again. There you go. There's life in a nutshell. And isn't that what you've prepared for? Isn't that everything that you've done your whole life? Isn't that why you went to elementary school? Isn't that why you went to high school? Isn't that why you went to college? Isn't this the life you wanted? Isn't this everything that was ever promised to you? Isn't this everything you've always worked for? Then why aren't you happy? If you have everything that you worked for, why aren't you happy? So that's kind of what I'm going to exploring here. Really, what I want this in my grand designs or whatever. I honestly don't know what I'm doing, and I'll explain a little bit more why in a moment. But like, I'm to a point now where I don't care. I know that this video's sloppy. I know that I go on tangents. I know that I ramble. Perhaps this will go into the basement of YouTube and no one will ever see it. Maybe I'll chicken out at the last minute and not even post the damn thing. I don't know. But what I do know is I can't keep doing the same stupid thing that I've been doing. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expect different results. I mean, that's foolishness. So I just want you, dear listener, just come along with me, man. Think about it. Think about what I'm saying. Maybe it resonates to you, maybe it doesn't. If you don't, click off and go away. I don't care. I'm not starting a cult here. I'm just a dude in his garage talking because it's the only place I can personally get away right now where I don't have responsibilities. I don't have a dog and kids and a partner and parents and everything up me, right? And we all feel that stress. right? So let's all just kind of come together and start our own little club here where we can just hang out and go, ah, yeah, that was a hell of a day. You know what I mean? So, what brought me to this point, anyways? I'm gonna tell you a little bit of my story, so that as I go on in future videos, if you're all like, hey, this guy seems all put together, he must have had it on easy mode, you at least know the background of, yeah, it wasn't so great getting here. But I am better now. And though it's hard, I look back on all the painful things in my life that I would have accounted for as failures in my younger days, the mistakes, the things that keep me up at night, stupid regrets, and realize that they are not failures, and that, in fact, I've never failed in my life. I have only had lessons of growth that have brought me to this moment that I get to spend with you. So, who is Lyons? What is the Ben Lyons story up to this point? I'm just going to give you some bullet points, because just like a vacation slideshow, ain't nobody want to hear all that crap in detail, right? All right. So bullet points. I live in the middle of nowhere, upstate New York, in a small town. I'm in the woods. I live in a rural community, which is fine. I was born in Buffalo originally, but I grew up here. So from a young age, I was always kind of an outsider. I was never accepted as sort of like one of the local kids, teased, bullied, blah, 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 the whole 9 yards. And, you know, I had my stupid regrets. Never went to fucking prom. Oh, YouTube, can't swear. I'm sorry if I'm swearing, YouTube. Didn't go to prom, didn't get to do all these things. And, you know, I had regrets, but I was always looking forward. I was like one of the like outcast kids, right? You know, so I hung out with musicians, artists, and I originally went to school to be a drama major, but that wasn't practical enough. So I wound up being a philosophy major, which, you know, there's all the practicality you need, right? But hey, it was the 90s, back in the days when they said, oh, just get a degree, it doesn't matter, you'll get a job. You know, that was wild days back then. So, you know, I had an awkward childhood. Like, I was bullied a lot, beat up a lot, and whenever I stood up for myself, it always seemed like the repercussions were worse than had I not done anything in the first place. And as a high schooler, I was always looking forward to college because I could get out of this little town and start over. And finally, things will start going my way. Around the time I was 14, I started having mental health issues that have lingered up until, well, to today. And, you know, I'm in counseling and therapy, etc., to deal with those things. And part of that process, right, again, I don't see as a failure or a mistake, because it led me here to where I have the insights now where I can give you guys some shortcuts so you don't have to go through the same mistake and crap and learnings. They always say a wise man learns from mistakes, but a wiser man learns from somebody else's mistakes, okay? If you don't have to make the mistake and you can just listen to what I have to say, just listen to what I have to say and don't make a mistake, or make it. I mean, life will give you the same lessons either way. It's just, if you want to avoid suffering, that's the way to do it. So anyways, around that time, I also was into martial arts. Karate Kid was out, so I watched The Karate Kid, and I wanted to study martial arts. I did study martial arts for a long time. But like what I took out of martial arts, what I got out of it really was more of the meditative aspects, and I learned more about Buddhism and my intros to Taoism and things of that through martial arts study, which over the long term is where I really leaned in. You know, I took yoga here and there over the years. I get it, and I stretch and stuff like that, but I'm not a yogi. I think you will find I'm a toe dipper. I've dipped my toes into many different philosophies in the world, but I never really take the plunge. So I get it. And I have friends who are all namaste'd up, and, you know, all the power to them. But I'm a man of balance, and I think that in modern society we have to learn how to strike that balance between spirituality and modern practicality. And that's really the struggle for all of us today. How can you be spiritual how can you be truly spiritual in modern American capitalistic society in 2025? It's a question. I have no answer for it. So there I was, a kid always looking forward in high school, never comfortable with where he was. I go to college. I had some great experiences in college. Again, I started out as a drama major and I got to express myself creativity for a while, but it wasn't practical. So I switched to being a philosophy major and a writing lit major. Good stuff there. Never had a writing job or a philosophy job, but whatever. At least I got those degrees. I transferred from Lemoyne to SUNY Potsdam. Started at Lemoyne because another thing about me is I had a very rigid Catholic upbringing. I was an altar boy for 13 years. I was a church lector. Both my parents Eucharistic ministers. My dad eventually became a deacon. So I have that lovely Catholic guilt and underlying oppression behind me, which makes a lovely background for any religious discussion and philosophical delving, because it has such a ce sont je ne sais quoi of guilt that I think is very important to like dig in and explore. And I'm sure I will talk about that in future videos. But okay, tangents, stay aligned. Difficult childhood, meh, high school, but pushing forward for a better college years. College years were good, had some good times, had some friends. By then, I decided I wanted to be a rock star. So I had a guitar and my friends and I would play. We would jam. Like, I had all sorts of buddies who played music and we did some recordings here and there. And then in college, I actually got a chance to study abroad. So my friend and I studied abroad in Jamaica. We went to music school. We lived there for 6 months. I was on top of the world, traveling all across the island, had a band played down there. I was just having a blast. You know, it was like the ultimate experience. But like anything else, you got to come down from it. And I came back down to earth. And college ended up, and I was directionless. Worked some jobs, fell in love, fell out of love, traveled across the country, ended up in Southern California, went to law school, hated law, dropped out of law school, moved back home, worked for a warehouse as a operations manager in shipping. Then I hated that and I quit. And then I wound up going back to school for an IT and web development degree. So I'm actually a developer by training. I worked for a software development company remotely at home for over 14 years. I'm not a great developer. I'm actually much better at the operations side of things. So I was a senior manager of operations. So if you need any spreadsheets done, know that I am an Excel master. I can do macros all the live long day. I can do stuff that will blow your mind. But, you know, in the grand scheme of the universe, if your job is counting your boss's money in a spreadsheet, do you really find value in your human existence? Now, I was employee of the year twice at that company. I was there when they started with 4 to 6 people till they were over 50 people, and I grew that organization. I did everything. It's the miracle man, the golden boy, could do no wrong. I wanted to retire there. I was done making job choices. No more. Tech is great. I get to live my life. Being able to work at home frees me of the affordability I need to raise my children as a single parent, because my marriage fell apart and I am divorced. And so there's some muck too, but I'm not going to go much into that. But I am a single dad and I am the one raising the kids. So like, I do have that on my shoulders. And then I had this job that I worked for 14 years and I was great at for 14 years. But towards the end, I despised my job. I tried to not let it show, but I'm sure I wore it on my shoulder. Like, what's the point? What is the point to your life? Close your eyes, really, for 1 second. What if your whole life's purpose, the whole reason you were born, was to count somebody else's money on a spreadsheet? Is that life to you? Or is that like an inherent slavery mentality? And to some extent, that's what we're all doing in the American corporate workplace. That is what it is. You are a cog. You are a piece of the machine, and you're only good until you wear out. And the second you do, the second you're too old, the second you're too weak, the second someone can do your job faster and cheaper, you are gone. I do not care how much they say we're family. You are not family. Families fight at Thanksgiving dinner. Teams win Super Bowls. Join a company that's a team, not a family. That alone is a layer of truth in the workplace that is necessary for a healthy environment. But still, we're all family until one Tuesday morning, you're minding your own business. And it's like, hey, well, we don't need you anymore. We're going to let you go today. You get 3 months of severance if you sign this paper saying you'll never say anything shitty about us ever, despite all the shitty things we may or may not have done. And bye now. That's it. Everything you worked for, you didn't do anything wrong. It's just that, you weren't needed. Elon did something over at the Twitter, and he fired a bunch of people, and the company stayed afloat. So we can do that too, because we don't have any original ideas as CEOs in this country. We just follow the leader, and the big doggy did this, so we're gonna do this. Is there any thought into it? No. We're gonna replace everyone. We're gonna outsource everyone to H-1B people from India. And when that's not cheap enough, we're going to outsource that to Kenya. And when that's not cheap enough, it's all going to just be AI and no one will have a job. Wow. So no one studied Keynesian macroeconomic theory. We're all stuck in Adam Smith world here. Well, that's going to work out great. What are you going to do when nobody has any jobs? This is where we're at in society today. We have reached the pinnacle of a combination of automation, now in the form of AI. And it's like, so that automation has created what we call post-scarcity. And now we're intertwining that with end-state capitalism. In other words, post-scarcity is simply the concept that all one's needs could be met without work. You could have robots growing the crops, robots feeding you, robots driving deliveries, robots doing everything. Everything could be automated. In this scenario, there are only two futures, one which we call the Star Trek future and one which we call the Dune future. In the Star Trek future, everyone's needs are met. So you're hungry, you just go over to the replicator and get yourself a steak. You work a job because you choose to work the job, because it fulfills you. In the Dune universe, you work the job because you're a slave. There's only the owners and the slaves. And that's what we're seeing happening right now. There's Elon Musk and there's everybody else. There's Donald Trump, there's everybody else. There's Jeff Bezos and there's everybody else. And in America, we love to believe the lie that we're going to be able to bootstrap ourselves to the top. But we're not. We are at a precipice of humanity where jobs are being evaporated. And the bigger question really is, if nobody needs to work, how does one judge the value of an individual in society? See, like, money is essentially, and there's a lot of different ways to understand or explore it, but essentially it's credits. It's little game credits that you use, and it says, this is your worth to society. You've earned this many credits. So with those credits, you can earn this many rewards. It's like you go to an arcade, you do this many, you play the game that well, you get those tickets out, you bring the tickets up to the booth, and you get to get the money. You see what I mean? That's what they're saying. Your worth, your value, all you bring to the table in this world. The only thing that creates worth for you is how much you're able to earn. How many green pellets can you get? That's it. And so inherently, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, they got more green pellets. That means they're better people than you. That means they're more moral than you. That means they're more right than you. That means they're more spiritually grounded than you, right? Isn't that what that means? Doesn't money equate happiness? Isn't that why we work so hard to get all this money? So that we can be happy? That new car is going to make us happy. That new house is going to make us happy. That yacht's going to make us happy, right? All we need is money. If I had the money to pay the bills, I would be happy. Have you ever met rich people? They're some of the most miserable people you will ever meet in your life, because money doesn't buy happiness. I mean, it can rent it for a while. It can. It's a lot easier to sit back and meditate and relax. I think about like this, right? It's like a lot of the spiritual influencers and stuff that you'll see on YouTube. I mean, that's spiritualist cosplay. I mean, yeah, they're living the van life. They're doing the yogas. They're drinking the kombucha. They're namasteing and everything, which is great. But that's cosplaying. They can only do that because they're trustafarians, because they got rich parents, because they have the resources to do that. I'm talking to the everyman. I'm talking to the person who is at home right now, struggling with their life, struggling with their job. I'm not talking to the monk in Thailand who has the luxury of sitting by himself on a rock meditating. God, that's easy. It's easy to reach enlightenment when everything around you is perfect. Who I'm trying to reach out to is the person stuck in the noise. The voices won't talk to you. The hauntings of the past. The traumas that just won't go away. The stupid things that just keep happening. So yeah, I'm a 50-year-old man. Lost my job 2 years ago. Out of the blue one day. I got another job in the meantime. It didn't even last 6 months. And honestly, it just wasn't a good fit. Like, they didn't like me, I didn't like them. We disagreed inherently. It was a simple disagreement. I thought they were completely incompetent and didn't know how to do their job, and they disagreed with that. But, that's neither here nor there. Still, it's fine. Because that is life guiding you. It sucks. It sucks. True spiritual quests. The true spiritual journey sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. For every shaman that you've ever met, every real holy man, and not like the ones that you'll get on a weekend retreat, you get a real one, I'll tell you, they've got pain. They're probably bipolar. They might be schizophrenic. They've got pain. They were abused. They died. Something happened to them. Because you can't talk about life until you live life. And it's an unfortunate part of life that suffering is a large part of it. And I'm getting close to about the 23-minute mark. And so I think you get a sense of where I'm coming from. And that's enough of my background. So bullet point, disturbed childhood. Tell me another one. Okay, high school. Better college. Taper off. Last few years, right downhill. Divorces, jobs. I went down into a very bad depressive slump. But I have found a way forward, a path forward. And I do feel good. I feel better. I don't regret losing my job for a minute anymore. I did a year ago. I was really sad. I was really beating myself up over it. But now it's probably one of the best things that's ever happened to me. And everything that is bad in my life was necessary to bring me to the place I am now. So not only do I not regret it, I welcome it, I thankful, and I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for being in a bad marriage. I'm very grateful that my job blew up on me. I'm very grateful for all the alcoholics that have come in and out of my life. I'm very grateful for the friends I've met, and I'm very grateful for the friends I've lost. I'm very grateful for every mistake I have made in my life, because had I not made those mistakes, had I not had those experiences, I wouldn't be here right now. And right here, right now is where I was meant to be. Do you know why? Because I'm here. The past is the past. The future is uncertain. The only time we have is now. Everything else is a delusion. The only time you have is now. And if you're comfortable in the now, and you're living the now, and you're truly present, that's it, bud. You got to figure it out. So I'll cut to the chase. If you want to know about enlightenment, I'll tell you how to be enlightened. The formula for enlightenment is quite easy. And I'll spend the rest of these videos explaining it and talking it and going through it, because I can tell you how to dunk a basketball. Run really fast with the legs, jump wicked hard around the free throw line, put that arm up and slam it in the basket. There. Now you know how to do it. Go out and do it. I'll wait. Some of you can, some of you can't. Why? Just because you know how to do something doesn't mean you can do it. You still got to physical. You got to practice the body, got to practice the spirit, got to practice the mind. And some things you just have to experience, because the spiritual journey is an emotive journey. It's not a logical one. So I'll wrap this up really quick. I hope you come back for my next one, if I do a next one, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm living too much in the now. Maybe this will be enough. Who knows? But I'll give you the secret. I'll tell you what it is right now. And you can spend the rest of your day looking up everyone else. Look up everyone else. Everyone on the consciousness, the secret. Join whatever cult you want. Join whatever religion you want. I'll boil it down to the simplicity of life as this. 1, the Buddhists were right. Accept the fact that life is suffering. But that's okay. That's the whole point. Don't avoid the suffering. Suffering is important. 2, understand that our whole purpose here is to love. It's to love, unconditional love. It's to learn unconditional love. All the suffering from point 1 is to get to point 2. All the suffering that we encounter is so that we can learn to love. And I mean love. And I don't mean like, that chick over there is hot, I'm going to love on her. I don't mean I love you when you do things well, or I love it, I love this, or I love that. Not even. You know how you have that pure unconditional love for your children, for those of us who've experienced that? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they do. You will love them, whether they're good or they're bad or they're indifferent, whether they hurt you or anything. You will love them. Okay, good. Now, hold that feeling in your heart. Now think of someone who's wronged you, who sexually assaulted you or murdered a member of your family. Love them the same way. Love Hitler like that. Love Osama bin Laden like that. You know, pick the most vile human being you have ever thought of in your life and learn to love them as if you love your child. And now, if you can do that, love yourself that much. Okay, when you can do that, come back and let me know how that goes and how you sorted all that out, because that's what I'm trying to figure out. And so the third part of this is suffering. The reason why it's connected to love is because suffering is growth, okay? Everything is like a tree or a plant. We're all plants, really. A seed goes in the ground, that's potential. You have the potential, but you have to push through the soil. You have to get hit with the hail and the rain of early spring and fight those winds, and that's what makes your stalk strong. And in summer, yes, you flourish, and everyone can see you in your beauty and sit underneath your branches. But you're not growing anymore, you're maintaining. And then in the fall, it's bittersweet, because though we get the bounty of the fruits of the plant often dies. And that's our cycle. We will release our bounty right before our death, but the time of your life, the time of life is spring. And spring is hard. Spring is pain. Whenever you are in pain, whenever you are suffering, you are growing. Whenever you are growing, you are not dying. So you always want to grow. Growth is in love. The universe has a penchant towards chaos. It wants to constantly disassemble. The true divinity that is within ourselves is the ability to create the universe around us through growth and learning and lessons, and then converting those lessons into pure, unadulterated creative love. Love for one another, love for the environment, love for the arts, love for the sciences, love for the universe. And in that love, there is creation. That's it. There you go. Go out and do it. That's key to life. So with that in mind, I think I will leave you for today, and I hope to see you again on the future on this journey. Again, my name is Lyons. Have a great day. Oh, and yeah, do that whole like, subscribe, bell thing. That's what you do. I mean, I don't care. I'm a crazy man rambling in my garage. Have a good one.